Hi guys, it's James from Meatster and I'm really excited about today's video. As you can see, I've got an absolutely huge steak in front of me. In fact, it's so big that I've had to get this sword. It's actually a kitchen knife, but it looks like a sword in order to cut it. I've barely eaten all day. I'm actually in the middle of training for a strongman event, so training pretty hard, eating quite a lot of food in general, maybe 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day. So I thought today I would try and eat quite a large meal. I'm sure for some people it's not that huge. For me it looks pretty big. I've got a kilo or 2.2 pounds of steak. I've got a pound of roast potatoes. They've been roasted in beef fat. I've got a small piece of bread as well to mop up any juice. Just so you know, this is a rib and also a ribeye. It's on the bone. It's a Galician steak that's from northwest Spain. It's been dry aged. It looks and smells incredible. We are in early December here. It's about 2 degrees outside, but I couldn't cook this indoors. That would be sacrilege. So I had to put it on the barbecue, which turned out to be more of a mission than I thought it was going to be. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know I don't normally use a thermometer, but this being such a big piece of steak, I did use a thermometer. Got it up to just above rare. I don't normally cook like that, so I'm a bit worried. Who knows if the thermometer works properly? This could be medium, it could be well done, it could be rare. I aimed for medium rare. So, never used this knife before. The shape is called a takobiki. It's a Japanese type of knife. And what we're going to do is, I think, we should just cut a little piece off the end, and then once I tell you what it tastes like, I'm just going to sit and eat it like on all those food channels where people are eating massive amounts of food, and I'll sort of scrub through that a bit more quickly. So here we go. Well, it's not exactly as rare as I thought it would be, but it's at least not completely well done. It's definitely looking on the medium side. That often happens with these really dry aged steaks. This looked like it had been dry aged for quite a long time, so here we go. Smells amazing. As we get in the middle, it's getting rarer. It's not cooked so evenly. Being 2 degrees outside, the barbecue really struggled. It took way longer than normal. I had to keep blowing on the coals. So who knows? That was a silly idea of mine probably, but if you love barbecuing, you love barbecuing. Right, we're getting rarer. This is good. It's starting to look the way I'd want it to. The knife's cutting really well actually. I've never used it before. This is not going to be a delicate video, but excuse my hands. I shall bite into that later. So I think this is a 40-ounce steak, essentially, but there is a bone, there's quite a lot of fat, so it's not quite 40 ounces, but for the sake of the challenge, that's what we'll call it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of salt. It's obviously been salted for a good couple of hours on the outside, but it's a big, thick chunk of steak. And then I'm going to use this garlic oil that I've made. I'll start just with a little bit. I want to taste the steak itself first, and then we'll see how much we need. Right, I'm not really timing myself for this, but let's just see how long it takes out of interest. I'm going to start the stopwatch now. I hope you can see that. And here we go. So much flavour. It's quite smoky. It's got that real dry aged flavour. It's really savoury, it's really beefy. Excuse me, it's definitely nowhere near as fatty as USDA beef, as grass-fed British beef, or almost any other beef, and that's just because they use sort of older dairy cows. It doesn't sound great, but something different about it. It's not as melt in the mouth, but it does taste really, really great. It has such a good depth of flavour. Got a nice piece of fat here. Lots of flavour. A good non-alcoholic stout. Don't worry, the mayonnaise is not for the steak, it's for the potatoes. Cheers. The steak challenge was actually supposed to be 1.3 kilograms, which would have been about £3 instead of this 2.2. Unfortunately, what arrived was smaller. I don't know if it's going to feel like a challenge at the end. I am very, very hungry, but it is obviously a lot bigger than I would normally have.
I like that.
I think if you're eating a lot of steak and there's a lot of fat, a sauce like this that has vinegar in it is just perfect. It would be so rich if you only had like a bayonnaise sauce or a red wine sauce. It would get tiring. It would get tiring very quickly, but I think with the vinegar in here, even with this fat on the edge, get this lovely sort of, not sharpness, it's really mellowed, the vinegar, with all the garlic and the herbs. This fat from the outside of the sort of fat that runs down the side, which has got really charred and cooked through. Oh, it's like really good bacon. This is a really spectacular steak actually. So much flavour, it just keeps giving. If you're anything like me, the portions in a restaurant are just not big enough. Normally in the UK you're looking at 250 or 350, maybe 400 grams. 400 grams is, what's that in? That's just under, 400 grams must be 14 ounces, so that's about the biggest. So this is nearly 3 times the size of that. I think I better slow down a bit, it's nearly finished. We're at 10 minutes nearly. Let me know down in the comments below what size steak you normally pick in a restaurant, and also what type of sauce do you go for? Because I'm surprised that I still see red wine or peppercorn sauce on menus. It's sort of had a revival, and to me it feels very kitsch. It's sort of old-fashioned, and I just can't see that it does a great steak any justice at all, but that's just my preference. I always go for béarnaise or chimichurri. Excuse me. But I'd be interested to know, is it something you grew up with, or why? If you do like the more old-fashioned, heavier sauces, what it is about that. You have to be really careful with high carbon steel like this, that you don't cut into the bone. In fact, I've already chipped one of my favorite knives. I'm thinking of doing some content about kitchen knives, especially Japanese high carbon steel kitchen knives. So if you're interested, let me know. And what is it that you might want to hear about, the different shapes, what they're used for, and how you sharpen them, that sort of thing. Excuse me. So much flavour on this, sort of the crusty bit you get near the bone. So obviously, as I said, it's a 40-ounce steak, but the bone must weigh, I don't know, 3 ounces. This bit of fat will also weigh something. That's why I've gone for over a pound of roast potatoes, just to make sure that I'm getting in well over 40 ounces of food, seeing as I don't want to make clickbait. We're just under 17 minutes. I'm starting to feel a little bit full up. I wanted to finish it before 20 minutes because that's normally when you start to feel the most full up as you get past 20. So 3 minutes to go. I can definitely feel the food getting down there. I'll manage, but this would be at the limit of what I'd want to eat, I think, as a sort of pleasurable experience. Wow, all the flavour is so packed into this bit round the bone. Oh. Well, I finished the steak in somewhere around 19 minutes, and now just got to finish this bread. Last mouthful. I don't know how all those competitive eaters do it. I mean, this is what, 3.5 pounds of food total probably. Someone like Beard Meats Food is doing 5 to 6 pound challenges just as a sort of casual bit of practice. Whew. Here we go, 21 minutes, 35 seconds. I reckon a competitive eater might have eaten that in like 2 to 3 minutes probably. On the other hand, I didn't want to absolutely rush it. There was a lot of enjoyment. It's really, really delicious steak. I do recommend Galician steak if you've not tried it yet, if you can get hold of it. Don't expect the most tender steak you've ever had, but it's tender enough. But there's something to chew on. There's tons and tons of flavour and character, and it's stunning. But right now, I need to go and sit down for a minute, contemplate where my life has led me to this point, and come up with the next video idea. So anyway, this might be the last video before Christmas. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know down in the comments down below what you thought of this little challenge. Could you eat it yourself? If you can, let me know if you can eat a lot more and how much. That'd be interesting to know. But it's been a great year. Thank you for everyone that's subscribed and come along on the journey. It's obviously a slow start on YouTube. Around 800 subscribers now. I'd love to hit 1,000 subscribers in the first half of next year and then see where it takes me from there. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I'd be really grateful if you could. And we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Whew.